Well, hello guys, and welcome back to another Steven Universe review. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at Season 5, Episode 7, Raising the Barn. Now, as I've not so subtly said before, I kind of hate this episode. Not in the way I normally think of it. Basically, you know how it's a fine episode. It's actually a pretty good episode, but I kind of hate it. And like what it does. A similar example would be Cuphead. Cuphead is a really good game that I hate. It just makes me so angry. And this episode makes me angry. Because it's taking something I loved and it's just supplanting the idea that I now hate it. So let's get into it. So this episode kind of starts off right. Like, he starts off waking up in bed, kind of where Dewey Wins ends off. So this goes back to that complication of whether this episode comes directly after that one, or if this is after Gymcation. Thematically, this episode feels like it comes after Gymcation, just because of Gymcation thematically feels like it came after Dewey Wins. So, take it however you want. This is the order I've decided to tackle it in. But he gets a call from Peridot and Lapis, and everything's going so right? He's like, I'm fine. I wasn't actually avoiding you guys. But Lapis learns that he was in contact with 2 of the diamonds, and he pissed them off, so now she's panicking, and he runs over to the barn, and Lapis wants to leave Earth. She doesn't want to get involved with another war. She doesn't want to fight Homeworld, so she's going to take everything they love and run away, right? Peridot, very early on, obviously doesn't want to go. But he'll go for Lapis, right? Because he cares about Lapis. So they're trying to decide what to take, what not to take. And eventually Lapis is just like, screw it, and literally raises the barn, right? There's an obvious joke here about a show with ponies. Somebody's already made it. But they can't leave because Pumpkin's gone missing. So they gotta go find Pumpkin, right? Because, oh no, the precious Pumpkin's gone. So they go wandering around. And throughout this entire time, Peridot's alluding to Steven that she doesn't want to go, that Earth is her home. But they have to go because Peridot's basically sacrificing everything for Lapis just because she's emotionally damaged and they need to make her feel better. And there's also this whole thing about how she keeps lying to Lapis just to make her feel better. Because, Lapis has been through a lot over the past few thousands of years since the Gym War. And, hey, we should stop giving her so much shit or whatever. She's kind of in the right, kind of in the wrong, and we'll get to it. But eventually they come across an onion farm. Onions. It's a joke I'm surprised they haven't made already, but And they eventually go back to the farm and find Pumpkin. She's safe. I'd honestly never considered whether Pumpkin was a boy or a girl. It never really mattered in my opinion. But Peridot gives this whole exposition piece to Pumpkin, how, we need to go, right? We need to be there for Lapis. And even if it means sacrificing everything, we need to be there. Clearly projecting herself onto Pumpkin. And eventually Lapis comes back and is like, let's leave. And Peridot's like, no, Earth is our home. We should stay here and fight for it. Which, this reminds me back to the thing about how, remember when, after Alone at Sea, everyone, including myself, eventually, realized that it was a metaphor for an abusive relationship, right? Even though it is kind of, they're both at fault, a lot of people in that instance blame Jasper as the main problem in that abusive relationship. I, on the other hand, blame Lapis. I think a lot of what happened in that episode is Lapis's fault. That Lapis is the abuser. And the way Peridot treats her, right? Ever since then, she's been trying to make Lapis feel better. And the way Lapis reacts in this episode, oh my god, Lapis is such a bitch. She decides to fly away with the house. Even though it's Peridot's home first, she takes it and leaves like a fucking bitch. Oh my god, I hated her in this one. fuck her so much. She just takes the home. The obvious conclusion, which is the conclusion I thought they were building to, that made logical sense in my mind, was that she was going to, right, just like we'd expect, she's going to stay on Earth because she, not only because she cares about it now, but because Steven's there, because Peridot's there, because the people she cares about are there. And she's going to fight for them. Maybe not for the planet, but for them. But nope, she just up and leaves. Fuck her. Talk about going from being one of my favorite characters, and this has been gradually happening. Honestly, this all started at Alone at Sea, to probably my least favorite character. My God, she had so much potential, and God, I hate what they've done with her. Oh, God. You know, I'm one of those people who, like, defends the show like, oh, it's not falling apart. I know a lot of people didn't like Season 4. I was actually a big fan of it. But sometimes episodes like this one comes along and makes me think, you know, for all the great things this show does, it really does break my heart. And it still is a good episode because it breaks from the trope, right? Of course she's going to stay. And then when she doesn't, oh, it's subversion, and it's actually this last scene where they're just in the bathroom is really kind of heartbreaking, and it's supposed to be. And it feels heartbreaking, and it breaks my heart, but I just hate it. God, it's not that so good it's bad. It's just makes me angry that what it could have been. We'll see. You know, we'll see where it goes from here. Next time we got an episode about the kindergarten. Yay. I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time,